A country's laws are not the full story, as it is the people who determine the day-to-day experiences that are most likely to occur. And yes, laws are important and equal rights are paramount, but the opinions of the masses are that which arguably go furthest in determining if LGBTQ people are actually safe from persecution, as laws cannot be enforced in every location and at every moment. For this reason, understanding where public opinion is most pro-LGBTQ is a useful factor to be aware of when considering where you may want to visit, buy products from, move to, or invest in from abroad. In recent videos, we have taken a deep dive into the countries with the best laws and the countries trending in the right and wrong directions, legally speaking. But today, it is time to put the laws aside and look only at public opinion data. Many of the countries that topped these prior lists also happen to have leading scores in public opinion, but do not worry if you start to feel like you have deja vu, because while you may remember some of these countries for their leading scores in legislation, other countries may come as a surprise, both for making the top 10 and others for failing to make the top 10 on this list today. And as a fun game, feel free to hit pause, write down the 10 you think will be on the list today, and then compare at the end what you wrote to the final list. And, as a side note, if you do notice a country that has made it near the top of the safest LGBTQ destinations list, countries trending in the right direction legislatively list, and also on today's video on public opinion, you can rest assured that it is a solid place across all metrics measurable. Now, Equaldex and the Williams Institute of Law are the two primary sources we will be using today for our methodology of creating the overall list and ranking. Equaldex averages out a wide array of polls and surveys from respected pollsters to create their public opinion scores. And the most recent edition of the Williams Institute Global Acceptance Index looks at thousands of polls and surveys in order to gauge the rates of societal acceptance across the world. So, for those who enjoy the data and are curious about the methodology, I will also leave links in the description for you to explore the resources for yourself and enjoy the full data set so you can understand the methodology better. The first country on our list today, and coming in as the 10th best in the world for positive public opinion of LGBTQ rights and people, is likely a country that many will not yet have on their radar, as it receives far too little coverage. Cabo Verde is a Portuguese-speaking country with a population of 600,000. It is located off the west coast of northern Africa and is home to some incredible and rarely visited natural areas, famously accepting and open-minded locals, and top-notch seafood, beaches, and weather for most of the year. Utilizing data from 5 different polls, Equaldex gives Cabo Verde a public acceptance score of 80 out of 100. The Global Acceptance Index from the Williams Institute of Law, UCLA, gives Cabo Verde a slightly lower, but still impressive score of 68, just ahead of Mexico and just behind Chile. And combining the scores from each world-leading resource on LGBTQ public opinion data, we come to a final score of 74 for Cabo Verde, the 10th best in the entire world. And despite not yet having marriage equality and changing one's legal gender still not being possible, the country does have the 10th highest rate of public acceptance for LGBTQ people and rights in the world. So, even though legislative progress is certainly needed, Cabo Verde is an already incredible place to be queer in, and one that will likely only keep getting better and better with time. Now, if we move northwest until we are deep in the Pyrenees Mountains between Spain and France, we arrive in a small country that has recently been making some impressive strides in LGBTQ rights. Andorra is a small but interesting country that is most well known for being a small and interesting country. But jokes aside, it does have great skiing, is extremely safe, and most importantly for today's video, is truly world-leading in terms of public opinion towards LGBTQ people. Equaldex uses data from 5 different polls and surveys, including one that found nearly 95% of Andorrans would be fine with having a gay neighbor. Andorra was given an overall score of 74 points in the category of public opinion. The Global Acceptance Index gives Andorra a slightly higher score of 75, just ahead of the USA and just behind Germany. And when both of these rankings are combined and averaged, Andorra finishes with an overall score of 74.5 points and securing the title of 9th highest LGBTQ societal acceptance in the world by just half a point. For anyone who ever has the opportunity to visit this beautiful alpine country, you can rest assured that you are in one of the most accepting and open countries on our planet. Now we will move northwest until we fall into a jug of maple syrup. At least, I wish I could fall into a jug of maple syrup. It is so expensive here in Eastern Europe. And of course, we are talking about Canada. Canada is a country known for its humble and kind people who love to say sorry the wrong way. Sorry, guys, I'm only joking. But what is not a joke is that Canada has some of the highest rates of LGBTQ public opinion and societal acceptance on the planet. So to any queer Canadians who don't feel Canada is accepting enough already, pay attention to the rest of the video, because there are literally only 7 other countries on Earth that have higher rates of acceptance. So it really does not get much better, at least according to the data. Equaldex draws on over 50 different polls and surveys, ranging across nearly every LGBTQ subject area, to give Canada a final score of 61 points for public opinion. The Global Acceptance Index ranks Canada just behind Sweden, but just above Spain with an impressive 90 points. When both scores from each leading resource on queer public opinion data is taken into account and averaged out, Canada finishes with a score of 75.5, just barely beating out Andorra. No country is perfect, but Canada performs admirably across every measurable metric of queer rights, and it ending up with the 8th highest LGBTQ public opinion score in the world will likely be a surprise to few. And even though some toxic US politics may be inspiring some bigots up north who want to build their political careers off of being hateful, public opinion in Canada remains incredibly high, and the country is without a doubt one of the best on earth for our community. Moving south now, but staying in the Americas, we arrive in Uruguay, perhaps the most peaceful, safe, and progressive country in all Latin America. Not only does Uruguay lead the region in terms of its laws, but more importantly for today's video, it also leads in its high rates of LGBTQ societal acceptance and positive public opinion. Equaldex has utilized 18 different polls and surveys to determine Uruguay's incredible score of 73 points, and the Williams Institute's Global Acceptance Index gives Uruguay a solid score of 79 points, placing it just ahead of Luxembourg and just behind Belgium on the metric. When both scores are taken into account and averaged out, Uruguay ends up with a final and well-rounded score of 76 points, beating Canada by just half a point. And Uruguay is without a doubt one of the most accepting, free, and safe countries in the world for LGBTQ people, so it is no wonder it has secured the 7th highest spot on our list today. It is a country where our community is not only protected by the law, but also by a highly developed and progressive society that truly values personal liberty. Uruguay may not be currently on the top of many queer people's travel lists, but I think that it really should start to be. Moving back to Europe now, we arrive in a country that I imagine will come as a surprise to few, as it has been renowned for its accepting and open society for many years. Denmark is at the top of many positive lists, and making it onto this one is no exception. Equaldex takes into account 26 different surveys and polls to give Denmark a final score of 67 points. The Global Acceptance Index awards Denmark 87 points in the category, where it places just ahead of Ireland and just below Spain by this metric. When both scores are averaged out, Denmark emerges with a final score of 77 points, one higher than Uruguay. Denmark has definitely earned its ranking today and gone the extra mile in fostering a free and accepting society. Last year, I actually spent 1 month living in the Danish countryside, far from any large cities. And it came out in a conversation with my hosts, who happened to be farmers, that I was in a relationship with my boyfriend. And they continued on just as sweetly as before without paying any attention to the detail, as everyone should. Even in the countryside, my experiences were so chill and relaxed, and being queer is not even a positive or negative, it just is. And I hope one day the entire world can be more like Denmark. If Denmark had a warmer and drier climate, was less financially stable, and was in the habit of assaulting tourists, then it would be the next country on our list today, Spain. Equaldex utilizes 84 different polls and surveys from respected pollsters to determine the final score of 67 points for Spain. The Global Acceptance Index awards Spain the impressive score of 88 points, which is no small feat to achieve. When both scores are averaged together, Spain ends up with a final score of 77.5, half a point higher than Denmark. And here's the beautiful thing about Spain. If you are an LGBTQ local, you are in one of the most accepting countries with some of the highest public opinion statistics on Earth. So, you should have no issues in Spain for being queer, but if you are a tourist, then watch your back. Don't speak your native language loudly in public, especially if you're British or German, because the locals may spit in your beer. And finally, make sure your wallet and phone are secured in your front pockets because pickpockets are wild there. And also, if you like the beach, don't get your hopes up, because the locals have started blocking beaches. Of course, if I had made the mistake of visiting Spain, I would simply shove and push my way through them. But for less confrontational people, you would just be left with no beach, having wasted thousands of euros on a dud vacation. You will not be hated in Spain for being LGBTQ, only for having the audacity of visiting their country. But maybe if you swim from Morocco, you will have better luck. But hey Spain, securing the 5th best spot in the world for LGBTQ public opinion and acceptance is definitely something to be proud of. Now, just check your attitude and you'll be golden. Moving north now to a country where people actually understand hospitality and how to be a decent human being, we come to Sweden. Many may notice that Sweden has not actually made many lists on this channel due to its legislative situation being solid and admirable but not quite top 10 material. But when it comes to public opinion, Sweden really shines. Equaldex, drawing on 84 different polls and surveys from respected pollsters, has given Sweden an LGBTQ public opinion score of 66 points. The Global Acceptance Index gives Sweden a massively impressive 92 points, and when the scores are averaged out, Sweden emerges with a combined 79 points, placing them 1 point above Spain. Sweden is definitely not perfect and certainly does have some legislative issues that need to be resolved, and actually, they seem to be moving in the right direction already. But let's be real and admit that despite its shortcomings, Sweden is without a doubt one of the most accepting and open countries in the world, and it likely comes as a surprise to few that it has secured the 4th spot today for highest LGBTQ public opinion in the world. Before we get into the final 3 countries on our list today, I did want to invite you personally to become a citizen of the Queer Kingdom and to join our quickly growing community. You can officially join the kingdom here on YouTube for $1 a month, which will eventually help me to make this channel my full-time focus as soon as possible. And you'll get access to some cute custom queer emojis and epic crown icons next to your comments on this channel that change and evolve the longer you are a member. You can check the comments below to see if you can spot any existing members and their crowns. It was definitely really fun to design, and I hope you like them. And also, while monthly live streams are always public, they are eventually moved to the members-only feed afterwards. And controversial videos covering heavy subjects that are not quite YouTube-friendly are also privately posted for citizens of the kingdom so that we can all stay informed. And finally, joining the Queer Kingdom here on YouTube gives you more access to me through private community posts and chats. I greatly look forward to meeting you and working together to create a safe and prosperous world for our people, one step at a time. Moving southwest now, we arrive in a country that is synonymous with both freedom and self-expression, and with living on land that used to be underwater. Of course, we are talking about the Netherlands. After examining 57 different polls and surveys conducted in the country, Equaldex has given the Netherlands a score of 66 points for LGBTQ public opinion. The Global Acceptance Index has given the country an incredible 95 points for societal acceptance, a score that is beyond aspirational. And when both metrics are combined, the Netherlands comes out with a final score of 80.5 points, 1.5 points ahead of Sweden. Many people already associate the city of Amsterdam with freedom, but the Netherlands is so much more than Amsterdam, and even in the more rural parts of the country, there is a general understanding that if you mind your own business, you are free to be whoever you want to be and love whoever you want to love. And the fact that the Netherlands is the 3rd most LGBTQ accepting country in the world by public opinion is certainly not a surprise to many who have had the opportunity to explore this amazing country. If we go north now, we arrive in an awesome country that unfortunately does not seem to understand that electric car batteries do terribly in the cold. Norway, you are absolutely incredible, but how am I supposed to drive from Oslo to Nordkapp in negative 30 degrees if every car available is electric? I mean, I did it, but it was definitely not easy. Seriously though, Norway is absolutely incredible, and Equaldex has made use of 24 different polls and surveys to determine that Norway received a score of 87 points for LGBTQ public opinion and societal acceptance. The Williams Institute of Law's Global Acceptance Index gives Norway an even higher score of 94 points. And when both of these hugely impressive scores are averaged, Norway emerges with a final score of 91 points, 10 full points higher than the Netherlands in third place. Norway easily secures its position as the second best spot in the world for LGBTQ public opinion, and I personally can attest to how accurate this feels in person. In my experience, Norway is one of the few countries in the world where you can genuinely be certain that almost everyone you meet is either supportive or indifferent to queer people existing. And honestly, what else can we ask for than to live our life peacefully and safely, surrounded by some of our world's most majestic natural landscapes, and well-maintained and modern cities full of forward-thinking and open-minded people? And the country topping yet another list for something positive is Iceland. I would guess that quite a few of you knew it would be them from the start, but let's just take a moment to appreciate how spectacular the numbers out of Iceland truly are. Equaldex takes into consideration 15 different polls and surveys from within the country to create the final score of 90 points for Iceland, by far the highest in the world by this metric. The Global Acceptance Index gives Iceland an eye-wateringly high 98 points. And combined, Iceland finishes with 94 points, 3 points higher than Norway in second place. Iceland is one of those countries that you have to say you understand is not perfect, when deep down you personally believe it is perfect. Sure, the weather is not everyone's cup of tea, but if you want to be treated with respect and know that you are safe to exist as a queer person, Iceland is without a doubt the best that humanity currently has to offer. Excellent job to Iceland and its beautiful people for landing the #1 spot on our list for LGBTQ public opinion and societal acceptance. And now we come to our queer news story of the week, where we have a happy development out of South Korea, where the country's top court has ruled that the state must provide health insurance for same-sex partners. The Supreme Court handed down this landmark ruling on July 18, 2024, and it opened the way for same-sex couples to register as dependents on their partner's health insurance. The Chief Justice is quoted as saying that denying same-sex couples such benefits because of gender constitutes discrimination based on sexual orientation. South Korea still does not have marriage equality or even civil unions, but many activists see this as the first step to a more equal future, and hopefully, South Korea is on the verge of introducing full benefits to queer couples that heterosexual couples already enjoy. But now, a victory is a victory. Before signing off, I just want to say that you being here today means the absolute world to me, and if you're interested, you are more than welcome to stay around and join our increasingly powerful community here at the Queer Kingdom as we fight for a future. And until next time, much love and blessed be, my friend. QK out.